This is Omar Ahmed for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. We're in Miami for a world heavyweight title fight. Is it a real heavyweight title, Jeff?
It's the regular WBA title, which of course is one under the one of the many that Usyk holds now after beating Joshua. But it's probably a more important fight for Daniel Dubois than it is for America, and for British boxing important too, because this brings Daniel back from the purdah of his loss to Joe Joyce, completes that return to the game. It also will rocket him into the mandatory position for the WBA title challenge to Usyk or Joshua or Fury, whenever that comes. So it's highly significant for Daniel, very important for British boxing, and it'll be a fight worth having in its own right.
I'm getting a call. I'll let you take that. Just picking this back up, Jeff. Yeah, you were saying about being a more important fight for Daniel Dubois. Should Daniel Dubois win this, then he's got to stay on that world scene, surely, Jeff.
Yes, he's come from the huge disappointment and a lot of criticism. This will put him back in the fringe of the top heavyweights in the world. He's obviously will now become just a notch below Usyk and Wilder and Usyk. So you can fiddle with that. Usyk, Joshua and Fury. It'll open up doors while he waits for them to sort things out. That will open up doors for perhaps fights against Dillian White, who's looking to fight somebody important. And he brings a belt to the table now for discussions with not only the big boys, but perhaps Deontay Wilder or Andy Ruiz. So he's back on the big stage as long as he does the business here tomorrow night.
Jeff, you've covered millions of fights in your career. Have you ever been to something like this? Don King's put this on in Miami. Have you seen anything like this before?
No, we've had world heavyweight title fights in more salubrious surroundings. Barry McGuigan is saying he hopes that the intimacy of it, as he puts it, will create a really exciting atmosphere. Well, we'll wait to see if that happens. They advertise the place as having a 6,200 seat capacity.
Phone call. Sorry. You're all right. Picking this back up for a second time with Jeff. He's a busy man. He gets lots of phone calls. He can watch Daniel Dubois try and become WBA regular champion against Trevor Bryant live on BT Sport. 11 p.m. ring walks for that in the UK. Jeff, just carrying on with the heavyweight theme. We're still expecting an announcement for Usyk Joshua 2. We learnt that reportedly it's going to be on DAZN in the UK. Joshua's first fight away from Sky Sports. Box office, get your reaction to that.
Well, it's an interesting choice for AJ, if that's the case. Sky is still hoping that they can pull this contract out of the fire again. The choice for AJ is whether he gives up autonomous control over his TV broadcasting, and whether the money that DAZN's billionaire oligarch backer can give DAZN and pass on to him outweighs the wider visibility of him on the world stage through Sky. DAZN, of course, is a digital network feed. It will probably, if they've got it, go to the first pay-per-view fight on that, whereas hitherto it's been for subscription. It's likely that the audience might be reduced a bit further, because many of the subscribers, monthly subscribers, are apparently voicing resentment that they now be asked to do pay for a pay-per-view fight, which was never supposed to be on the cards. So it's an interesting decision for all those people involved, in AJ in particular, Eddie Hearn as well, because he's going to have to find a lot of money, and it will be interesting how many pay-per-view buys he can generate, especially in Britain for this fight. So we await developments.
We're talking about money. A lot of that money will probably be coming from Saudi Arabia in terms of a site fee. What are your thoughts on the fight being in the Middle East? Of course, we've seen Joshua box before. We've seen other fighters box in Saudi Arabia. But your thoughts on this title fight going to Saudi Arabia, Jeff?
Well, it's the second time, if it goes there, that they've got an AJ rematch, because he did his rematch with Andy Ruiz there. And money talks in boxing, and let's face it, boxing's always accused of that, but in all sport, money talks. Look at the tennis players and boxers who've allied themselves with Saudi Arabia. Many golfers pulling out of the PGA Tour to fight on their new tournament series. So that's the way the business is. The fight, if the fight's not in London, and that looks extremely unlikely, that'll be a big disappointment for British fans, fans of Fury. Fans of Joshua and fans of so it's an inevitability. Would it be better if it were avoided? Yes, but boxing is a precarious sport, inherent with danger, and nobody can really blame anybody for trying to maximise their earnings. The earnings are much greater than they used to be in the old days when boxers were exploited. They can now dictate the terms, and it's pretty hard for anybody with hand on heart to say, well, you shouldn't take more money when you're a young man with a growing family and you've got a lot of years of your life left to finance.
Last question, Jeff. Do you believe Tyson Fury stays retired?
I suspect not. I would imagine that he will be tempted, A, by the size of the money that would be available, and B, the prospect of fighting the winner of Joshua and Usyk to make history as the first undisputed world heavyweight champion since Lennox Lewis.
Jeff Powell, thank you very much for talking to IFL TV. Enjoy the rest of your time in Miami. Let's avoid the thunderstorms, but we'll go back out when the sun's out. I've
got a croaking voice because I was caught out in the rain.
Welcome, Team Everlast, to the Team Everlast Fitness app. Download the Everlast Fitness app and find your greatness within.